we're back here in Seoul for the Verizon post-game interview after the very first win of LEC and G2, and I have Hansama with me to talk about this victory. We were not scared at all. Were you scared during the game?
Just a little bit after the Nash. I feel like before that, I was very confident to close out the game, and then the Nash happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, that may be a bit tricky, and you have to play it really slow. But the moment I realized that we have Ocean Dragon against their comp, it has to be win, you know.
There's a lot of game points that I want to mention here, especially the Baron call. As you said, it didn't go as expected. Tell me about the communication and what you did wrong during that play.
I think maybe we just didn't listen to each other. That was a bit chaotic during the moment. Maybe half the person didn't really want to go for Nash, half the person wanted to go Nash. And when that happened, we realized that we couldn't actually stop the rail correctly. Knowing that, I think we didn't exactly change the decision. Maybe we should just back off when the Nash is 6k, just leave it, just go back to base because we can't actually stop her. I think that was just chaotic there. I'm sure everyone tried to do something good about the situation, but I guess it happens.
Yeah.
It's been a while that we didn't play on stage, and I feel like he actually playing on stage very feels different than playing on scrims. It's very slow, so yeah.
It gets time to adjust, especially when you're playing against an LCK team and maybe the venue is going to be cheering for the fans. Do you feel like the venue is going to be cheering for the team? I'm sorry. Do you feel like it's something that you felt during the game, the support of the crowd for D plus Kia instead of you guys?
Oh, actually, I didn't really focus about that.
That's good.
I was really focused on what to do in the game, in the draft, in game plan. I was like too focused about that I couldn't even notice that there's the crowd cheering for them. I think we played. I played, and we played a good game, so that's nice.
And you decided to play Draven, historic champion for you, the one with which you won your last LEC title. Actually, Draven is not a champion that we've seen so much actually so far at Worlds, even in the playing stage. How do you rate the champion, and what was your choice here? What did you think it was a good choice in this draft?
I think it's a good choice. Like just strong champ. Try to get some early lead control. We got Dragon, I believe. Got Herald, and I guess you just play for that. And every skirmish should be like not bad. Not many people play Draven. I guess I'm one of the players that play Draven still. Hopefully people will ban it. No, I don't know.
Giving a that's good.
But yeah, I really like I like Draven. Yeah. I guess they banned Kalista. Maybe they are scared of my Kalista. Actually, surprisingly, Kalista is in the meta. It's been like years. I feel like that she wasn't. Feels nice to see that.
Feels like it's a good meta for you, Hans. Last words here. Give some hopes to the LEC fans because it hasn't been the best day for us so far. Give us hope here, please. The rest of the tournament.
I mean, I guess we are like 1-2 since after this game, but I guess there's still Fnatic against Weibo, and I'm sure that they have their chances to win against them. So go la share for them, you know. And I still have hope that you can do well during these Worlds.
Hopefully as well. Hans, thank you so much. Merci beaucoup. Good luck on the rest of your games. And Shox, back to you.
Thank you so much, Laura. Great to hear from Hans. He deserved the props, I want to say, after that game. But we're going to get into our next one. I think it's going to be a real barnstormer. Is that what they say?
Barn burner?
Barn burner.
Yeah.
NRG versus Weibo. And it'll be the first time we see the first seed out of the LCS. So, of course, my big question is going to be, how are they the first seed coming out of the LCS?
How many barns will they storm?
Or
Yeah,
burn.
barnstormers. I would say it was a very interesting year for them. They were not dominant for basically any of the year until playoffs. They were 9-9 in the LCS summer. For those of you who don't know, they did acquire CLG's LCS spot after the spring split, kept the roster together. Palafox has the highest kill participation of all mid laners at Worlds, so actually very active in their success. And they have some OG blood on this team, with Contractz making his first Worlds appearance since 2017 when he was on C9.
Such a beautiful story for him.
Really long journeys for a lot of these players.
Even their
on
coaching
this team.
staff, DeMonte,
Yeah.
famously 0-6 on Clutch in 2019 Worlds.
Is that what you had to
Gets another
mention?
chance.
They do get memed on for having a surplus of coaches as well.
Yeah.
More coaches than players on this team. But it gave them a lot of success. This is a team that was able to make upsets within the LCS, within playoffs, and they really did deserve to win that finals.
Yeah,
So,
and one thing that was weird about them all year is they consistently had a better record against the top half of the league, and they lost to the bottom half of the league. So I think that's good.
Which gave rise to, that plus purchasing CLG spot, gave rise to the non-rational gamers
Okay, I
moniker
see. I'm
for
learning
this
the
team,
lore.
which is something that is kind of shared by Weibo, where they are very unpredictable and sometimes will overestimate or underestimate, their ability in some of these plays.
But you can see in these highlights how active they are and how they were the ones pulling the trigger throughout the playoffs when they found most of their success, picking a lot of initiation in all of their team compositions and really buying into just having the engaged vision. IgNar has always been super crazy, Contractz very aggressive, and it took them a long time to figure it out. It did feel like they found their style really in playoffs.
And a lot of the stories really focus on Contractz and Palafox for this team. But big shout out to Dhokla for adjusting his champion pool specifically in finals. So he had not been playing Rumble, he had not been playing the Jax, then pulls it out and smashes them with it.
Yeah, speaking of Palafox, there's a quote from Xiaohu. He said, I have met him in a scrim. He's such a good player. My opponent, mid laner Palafox, he's powerful. He seems like a genius. Now, this may or may not have been a slight mistranslation.
So listen, there's also a Palafox quote that he said that, man, Xiaohu's the best mid laner I've ever played against because they scrimmed them as the first LCK or LPL team once they were in Korea, and they got absolutely demolished. So Palafox versus Xiaohu, I think, was a big part of that, but they have learned since then.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons why they were laughing a lot when they saw the draw, because this is one of the teams that gave them the most trouble, actually.
Well, let's introduce Weibo then for our viewers who may not be as familiar. A little teaser there with Xiaohu. This is a team of superstars, Jat. And their year has actually not gone to their expectation or their caliber if you look at the pound-for-pound players, but they still find themselves in Worlds.
Absolutely. They clutched it out. LPL was so incredibly deep this year. So getting the 4th seed in LPL is still a huge accomplishment. They have TheShy. He was the world champion the last time he was at Worlds, and it was in Korea in 2019. Chris won the next year. That was really the birth. These two players were a big part of the birth of the LPL as the predominant region fighting up against the LCK, and Xiaohu was the MSI GOAT, still looking for that world success.
And Xiaohu is the one that I would focus on if we're looking at recency for this team. So much carry power in him, in addition to the respect that NRG now have after the scrims versus them. Xiaohu does so much carrying for this team. But I wanted to give like a special shout out because everyone will focus on Xiaohu and TheShy. They're super famous. To Weiwei, since it was such a big pickup, changing junglers for this team and Carson moving over to substitution for them. Weiwei had so many really big games for them. I pulled this one because the Poppy game, he just completely popped off for them, spam ganking bottom and top lane. He does a lot, knowing that TheShy requires a lot of attention sometimes.
You've been skirting around it. So, what can we expect? TheShy's back. How good is he?
We'll see.
We'll see. Because he's never met Dhokla before. Big Dokes, a.k.a. the Dokes.
TheShy really does seem to depend on the day because one thing Dhokla said about TheShy from scrimming him is he's very impressed with his ability to harass under tower, actually. But if you just push him in, then you don't have to worry about that.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's a
so
good point.
I think that's
just push TheShy under tower.
Okay.
The other thing is that TheShy will always try and fight his way out of being on weak side. If you send 4 people up there to try and dive him at his tower, you're pushing him under his tower. He's not going to run away. He will fight you and try and get those counter kills and allow his team to get something elsewhere.
Well, you got me incredibly hyped. I hope the game plays out as we see it in front of us. So let's see. Let's head over to our casters.
Of course it will be, guys. Thank you very much, as always. Introducing what should be a favorite matchup to the audience. I'm Asterix. This is Vedius, by the way, to take you into this next one. Now,
be honest. Be honest. How excited are you to cast Weibo?
Very. There's no chance I wasn't going to come into this and talk up TheShy. However, what I've just seen is the 1st seed from LEC take down the 4th seed from the LCK.
Yep.
So by that logic, that means the 1st seed from NA can take down the 4th seed of LPL.
I mean, I think we've already seen some impressive games from both Cloud9 and Team Liquid today.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the 3-peat from NRG.
And I'm scared.
Are you?
I'm scared of NRG, like no joke, right? I think Weibo are a great team. LPL cast, by the way, if you didn't know. But NRG are chaotic. Like, they're insane. They're unpredictable, too. I think that's a catchphrase
I mean,
today.
I love the fact that the whole definition of what this game is going to be is unpredictable.
Yeah, true.
You and I are going to be like, so what's our prep? How about we just don't have any and see what happens? We're like, sure, that sounds great. We're going to introduce the teams for the first time on stage. It's going to be our NRG versus Weibo.
Oh, yes, it is. And starting off with NRG, the first seed that no one expected from North America. This is a legendary roster. I mean, I used to cast Dhokla back when he was on Sin Gaming. Over back in the OCS, the OPL. FBI, I remember, coming up from the challenger scene in OCE as well. Two guys close to my heart, but again on the desk, I love that they're really selling the story of Contractz. First Worlds appearance since 2017 on Cloud9. So a bit of experience in this roster as well.
Yeah, excited to see the return of IgNar, a bit of a personal favorite of mine. He had so much success with Misfits. He's made a name for himself over in Europe. He was very prevalent, and was so impactful in the LCS finals, finding so many successful roams on things like his Rakan. He's a player that loves to get out on the map, and we know that who also likes to get out on the map? It's Crisp in the bot lane.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm so glad you set me up for that, because going up against the first seed of North America, look, that first seed has a lot of thinking to do, because using that same word, unpredictable, here comes Weibo, and he's back. Vedius, let's just start with the most important part. I know there's legends, but look at him. Look at that man. He's back on the world stage since 2019.
TheShy, an incredible top laner, former world champion, 2018. It was here in Korea where he found his last world championship alongside the legend of Rookie. But he has a new roster alongside him. The Spring King in Xiaohu, looking to make a name for himself. Obviously, he has a ton of experience on the international stage. The analyst desk already talked so exquisitely about the level of experience that exists on this roster. But who knows if any of that will matter. Game one, we already saw D+ and G2 play into chaotic, crazy bloodbath.
Yeah.
But we didn't necessarily expect that from both those teams. We do from these.
By 1,000 times more. And again, if you're new to Weibo, at least I can give the perspective as an LPL caster. And I can tell you all that this team had high expectations from the start of the year. That's what's exciting about seeing them at the World Championship, even as a 4th seed. They were convinced to everyone that they were a super team because Kalista was in the roster.
Oh, yeah.
We all know, so Kalista, you know, another legendary MSI champion alongside the members of Xiaohu. Kalista was in this roster, and we thought we expect massive things, especially since Light came from LNG, Crisp as well, FPX 2019 champion, and of course TheShy we already mentioned. But then it didn't work, it didn't piece together, and now we've got Weiwei with his debut at an international, and they're going to show us if they're fit for the standard of NRG. So we're about to get into pick and ban for this absolute doozy. What did Shox call it on the desk? Not a barn burner, a barnstorm?
Barnstormer. That's how I've also heard it called.
Love it.
The barn shall be stormed. Let's find out what is going to happen. Nico going to be taken off the board. Nothing too surprising there. Respect being given over towards Palafox.
Yep.
Not something that he showed a lot of during the LCS playoffs, but still a strong champion on the current patch. With the Xayah also being taken away from FBI, the Maokai being taken away from Weiwei. Also something we didn't see a huge amount from him in their regional gauntlet, the qualification for the World Championship.
True, we did see more things like the Poppy though. Remember that in the back of your mind, even though we haven't seen it too much in the World Championship so far, it is a big pick for that jungle on Weibo. So as Orianna gets taken away from Xiaohu, I'm also thinking about things like the Azir that he's been great on. The Tristana's also hovered around. Xiaohu, a great engage tool for Weibo. I think something you can't discount.
Let's see how they move forward things. Taliyah, of course, still up and available. The Rel gonna actually be banned away from Contractz, something that he did play a lot of during the LCS playoffs. You could argue big comfort pick for him. NRG, how will they round things out? What do they fear the most? All top laners are pretty much up and available. We've seen a lot of Jayce throughout the day still. I know some fans of TheShy would love to see him back on the Jayce.
They would. But another thing open is Cassante, by the way. He's loved this. He's been spamming it non-stop. So it could be an early pick option considering Weibo on blue side. Might just want to lock that one in. Various other options, maybe bottom lane for Light, who's been focused as well.
There's the Poppy.
Never mind, it's just Poppy straight out of the bat.
Of course, they can still flex this, right? They can flex it into top lane and jungle. There is the rarity of it going into support.
For the pick'ems.
For the
For the pick'ems.
For the pick'ems. Let's see, how will NRG respond? They could just grab themselves the Kai'Sa for FBI if they want to. Something that he's very experienced on, something very comfortable. It's proven to be a very strong champion on the current meta. But do they want to prioritize that AD carry? No, instead it will be Alistar. 3 games in a row now we've seen that Alistar be super prioritized, typically from the LCK teams, but IgNar saying, nope, I want engaged support. I always associate him with Rakan, but maybe into the Poppy, he's not as excited about that prospect.
Maybe not. I mean, today, again, it's just been coming out left, right, and center as the priority pick. NRG options in the bottom side. Didn't think Kai'Sa last game, but we're going to miss it for a little bit longer as the potential flex here for the Taliyah gets locked in for NRG.
Definitely a potential flex. Glad you brought that up because Palafox, no stranger to the Taliyah in the mid lane. More than happy to play that. And so both sides holding their cards close to their chest. But will it be the rumble for TheShy?
Oh, I bet you it will be. This guy's been playing it non-stop. I mean, Weibo, again, with such a volatile top laner, he just goes, you know what? I'm going to pick Rumble blind.
He's going to blind it.
Instead of the Cassante.
I mean, he's testing Dhokla here. He's saying, what have you got? You know, he is so confident in his Rumble. Look at the damage that Weibo have for themselves right now. Potential poke, depending on the build that Kai'Sa wants to go.
Yep.
Potential dive, depending on the build that Kai'Sa wants to go. A lot of options still here for Weibo, and NRG looking to answer with some aggression of their own.
Okay, about the 2v2 here. I mean, FBI has been one of the top tier NA 80 carries. And especially with the transition into this roster that used to be CLG, it's nice to see them putting presence on him when Weibo historically have been about the mid lane. We can talk more about that in game, but Vedius, I want to get into that brain of yours, if that's okay.
Okay.
If you'll let me.
Yeah.
What are we looking at now? What's a priority? No support right now for Weibo unless that becomes a flex.
Well, I mean, you praise my brain, but look at you predicting immediately the support bands coming out from the side of NRG. Weibo, they're likely going to be pinching some top laners. They may very well look to ban the Jayce themselves.
Okay.
Something that we saw a lot from Dhokla was things like the Jax in the finals, things like the Renekton as well, something that he's very comfortable on. Typically, I would have expected them to leave the Renekton open because I've seen so many Rumbles just dominate in that 1v1 matchup. And if TheShy is feeling confident, I don't see why they wouldn't, but I guess they're not taking the risk. Instead, they'll choose to leave that up. The question is, will NRG look to just ban away another support? They could look to get rid of the Rakan themselves. Maybe they'd be concerned about something like a Braum. We haven't really seen any Braum so far at this tournament, so I'd be surprised if they did choose to ban it away. Blitzcrank taken away from Crisp.
It's so funny because Crisp has been memed about in this last split in regionals. Hasn't been the best on Hook champions recently, even though historically fans of FPX, the 2019 champions, remember this guy's Thresh, this guy's Nautilus were insane. So at least the respect's given over by NRG, but still, we'll see where Crisp goes. Things like the Rakan are still up and available. Cassante also taken away.
Okay.
I guess another surprise when you consider that Rumble has been fine into the matchup historically.
So, will Dhokla look to pick something like the Jayce? And where is this Taliyah going to go? Will it be put into the mid lane? Are they going to keep it in the jungle? What direction are they thinking about here? Of course, they do have a lot of options.
You said it.
It's being hovered. And they're going to lock it in. All right, so Dhokla going to be going for what I would say is a favorable lane for the Jayce, but you are going into TheShy's Rumble.
Yep.
A man who is incredibly confident on that pick, has a very long history on it, and it's going to be no easy feat to come out on top.
I mean, this guy doesn't hard win the lane, but out CS's, outclasses a lot of the time. Someone you can't doubt, as this is a classic for Crisp. I mean, if we're talking away from Hook champions, engage here with, I said it before, Xiaohu on Azir has been exceptional. A real engage tool, more so than I feel like any other Azir in the world. And that just rounds out Weibo to a T.
I was going to say, when I look at this Weibo draft, this looks like comfort to me across the board. A lot of champions that a lot of these players are very familiar with. Even when I saw that Alistar, I was thinking to myself, would he just do a Leona here? We've seen him do it before. And it just so much great engage on the side of Weibo. Great backline access as well. Very powerful team fighting.
Wait.
Are they actually going to put the Jayce in mid and then have Ornn go into TheShy's Rumble?
Is that too dangerous, Vedius? I need to obviously wait for the final
You
swap.
tell me, man. Is that too dangerous?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think the answer's yes.
Yeah, I think it is indeed. But hey, Big Dokes, I mean, hearing Kobe's energy on the desk about this man, I can feel it. Might be an LPL caster, but Big Dokes lives in my heart now. And look, for NRG, walk me through a little bit, because I see very volatile lanes. I also see a bit of scaling added into the mix. I feel like there's multiple pairings here that need to be addressed.
But there is a little bit of poke on their draft when you always have Taliyah and Jayce.
Okay.
There's going to be a presence of, when setting up around these objectives, there's going to be a lot of effective chip damage, but really they spike really hard on one item. You look across the board, Kalista, Jayce, really potent once they get that first item underneath their belt. So you're looking at early dragons, you're looking at trying to skirmish and fight in the early game, and I think that NRG are pretty happy, because when we think about them as a team, they're happy to fight you in the early game. They're happy to go for these skirmishes. It's really just this top lane, how much pressure will be thrown that way.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as we're about to get in, it's the first seed of North America. And today, you know, NA have come so close. They've done a lot of damage. Cast your mind back to TL versus T1. That felt close. But can they beat the LPL 4th seed? Weibo have been exceptional in some regard. The fact that they made it here to the World Championship. The fact that they're in this spot, returning TheShy back. But is it too much to ask for? And that's the biggest question. Betty, it's got to be intense to get into this one. And surely we're just drawing it out. Because you kind of have to for this matchup. You expected explosions coming into this.
Yeah, you do. Mainly because the players just aren't afraid to fight. The analyst has said it. If you ever watch any of the games of these teams, it should be fairly obvious. NRG in their finals, I think their problem was that they got overzealous. They couldn't calm down once they got those leads, you know?
Yep.
They sometimes found themselves in fights that they just didn't need to take, and it was easy for Cloud9 to punish them. But Weibo is no stranger to that themselves, right? They're more than happy to take whatever fights they can. Sometimes they take fights that they just shouldn't. And that's why we just expect fighting from both these teams. Of course, your first game, day one, nerves can always be a factor.
True.
But if these teams want to win, they've got to play like they always do, because that's how they got here. We're jumping into the game. Game 6 of the day, Hysterics. NRG versus Weibo.
Absolute pleasure to see the 4th seed in action. But likewise with NRG's debut, let's see how they go, because I've noticed some real fun stuff about this roster. The level 6 roams from IgNar topside. Dhokla appearing bot as a rumble with ulti. Can still do that with Ornn here in this game. And I'm excited to see how this draft works out for NRG. As you said, bit of pace to add in. As ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a reminder now. Just remember that you can log into your right account on lollysports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons for the entire event.
There you can. Free stuff. Why wouldn't you?
Do that right now.
Go do it.
Go on.
Off you go.
You won't. Yeah, you
I mean,
will.
nothing's happened yet. No one's dead. So you got time.
Were you surprised, eh? Oh, it should have been over by now.
Obviously, you can see the runes on your screen. Conqueror for the Azir, for Xiaohu. We did see the Halo Blades coming out from Showmaker earlier, so a bit of a different approach. Phase Rush on the Poppy. Phase Rush on the Jayce as well. Nothing too crazy. And already TheShy.
How dare you?
I'm sorry, my bad. I'm in the presence of greatness, as you and someone else I know would say.
It's crazy. Do you think he's outdone Shy, you know, the original Shy? I'd say yes, right? You know, Shy is better than Shy?
I'm old, I'm not that old. You know, that's what I'll say to that. I was around for those games, but I wasn't around to analyze them. So, you know, I'm going to pass on that question.
That's all right.
Now, early jungle pathing. Never mind.
It's an all-in, but the separation from IgNar is great. Light can't do any damage. FBI just takes a heavy trade.
Yeah, I mean, easy trade for Chris. Is he going to look for it again? Of
Yeah,
course
he is. Zenith Blade Ignite down. There's a cleanse away. Flashes there too. FBI has no summoners at 2 minutes in the game.
Hi there, my name's Kalista, and I'm an early game champion. And
he's emoting.
And Crisp says, hi, my name's Crisp, and I'm an early game champion. Doesn't matter what he's on, he's going to look for something. Level 2 now secured. Crisp taking a strong presence in the lane.
That's a stance, isn't it?
Keeping my eyes on Weiwei. Is he going to look for a dive here? No summoners on FBI. He's making his way into the river. He's moving into the bot side jungle, knowing that they have the pressure. and he'll find 0 camps to steal away, which could very well mean, hey, you know what? No jungler presence means that we can look for a dive.
Very true indeed. Sees it, information gathered, and this is what made WBG so scary in those regional finals versus EDG. They made plays this early on, and with FBI at half HP, with no summoners as well, Weiwei stacks him against the wall. I'm seeing deja vu. And Weibo bring in first blood at 3 minutes in. IgNar now in trouble as well. Weiwei waiting for those cooldowns. There's the flash matched out. IgNar latched onto. Second skin about to proc. He bops him in. Weiwei might be in trouble, but he shoves him back. And Light gets the kill. A 2-0 start.
Excellent play from Weibo. They were able to force the summoners out from FBI in the straight-up 2v2. And then the pathing from Weiwei meant that he could supplement that with 2 early game kills, 1.3k the gold lead, already hysterics. And this bot lane is looking dire for NRG.
I mean, TheShy is zoning off the potential of a trade in Scuttle. Thank you, that's mine. So WBG get both sides of the map. It's now a 1,500 gold lead. And this is what we're talking about, the regional power of this team. The ramp up, they've become a quicker team, they've become a more aggressive team, and more successfully aggressive, Vedius, as this dive is the proof.
I mean, there's very little to break down here. Just a clean flash engage. IgNar does everything he can do to keep his AD carry alive. Unfortunately for him, Weiwei alone is enough to find that kill. Perhaps he should have considered flashing earlier, but frankly, I don't think the flash would have achieved anything. And just a nice play from Weiwei to walk away with 2 quick kills. Well played to Weibo. They're off to a fantastic start.
Respect from IgNar there. Like the little bop into the turret. Unfortunate about the cooldown that Weiwei was able to get out, but at least respect due there for trying to turn the play around, as Weiwei is now back in the bottom side, and this is, again, what we saw in regionals to add on. There's a bit of vision left over with Contractz trying to match a 3v3's potential. They're going to turn on for Contractz. Shove doesn't work, but against the wall it does. The bot back in. Chris teleports in that one. IgNar gets a double pulverize. Slight now runs on him for the damage. FBI out one way, IgNar the other. Summoners were burnt before, but at least like a matches. Xiaohu is now participating. He runs in without ulti. IgNar is slowed down, and Weibo are this deep this early on. Vedius, this is chaos.
I mean, it seems like a one-sided slaughter right now.
Constructed chaos.
I mean, things are falling apart very quickly for the NRG bot lane, and they need to find a way to stabilize, because Weibo are running rampant on the map. 2k the gold lead now. First Dragon is available, but they're not going to start that one off just yet, as many members have gone back to base to spend some of their hard-earned gold.
I need to ask an earlier question, earlier than I'd normally ask. How do you stem the bleeding here this early on?
That's a great question. Well, the idea here is that Contractz is looking to relieve some of that pressure.
Right.
But the problem is Poppy is just so powerful in this early game, and Weiwei is showing you why. Not only is he so experienced on the champion, but it's a tough one, frankly. It is a very difficult thing to do. Typically, if this was a little later in the game, you could consider a lane swap, you know? When Weibo go for an early Dragon, you can then use your numbers topside to go for Herald. You can fund the Herald to get the gold back. But it's so early into the game, there's not a lot that can be done. And the fact that the jungler even came bot with a level advantage to try and stem the bleeding, and Weiwei turns it into another kill in favor of Weibo, it only just makes it worse.
When we saw the matchup versus EDG, I mean, again, it was that transition of pressure. Even add on in the LNG third match playoffs, or rather, let's get the wording right, ladies and gentlemen. The third seed qualifier match, got it in the end. It was about Weiwei transitioning to bot, which we didn't see during playoffs, during the regular season as much. A lot more about that top side, about setting up TheShy. And so again, I guess it's a flexibility, especially in a matchup like this, Vedius, where TheShy's confident, he's fine against the Ornn here. CS is even so far with the way pushing it.
Well, I was going to tell, when we spoke about Weibo coming into this tournament, you were kind of surprised in how they flipped their playstyle, right? Where they were playing so much towards this bot side of the map, and it was actually working very effectively for Weibo, especially with the consistency level that we actually saw from TheShy.
That consistency continues through here as Contractz starts up the Dragon, but there's a control ward already there by Weibo, but Weiwei's on the wrong side of the map, so nice to see that NRG, there's a bit of balance of pressure here. However, Dhokla in a bit of trouble. TheShy ready to overheat, and Dhokla gets out of there, while the bottom side of the map is relieved somewhat, stopping any kind of objective bleed on top of what we've already got.
A small bit of reprieve for NRG. That is not a good trade for Dhokla. He's taking a lot of damage. He's at threat of a dive here. Again, look at the minimap. See Weiwei making his way up. The pings have come down. Dhokla needs to do what he can to thin this wave out ASAP to make it harder. But the jungler's not going to be there quite in time. Ward going to be dropped. And you look at this vision control over the top side of the map. Weibo doing a great job of just gaining information and trying to keep track of where Contractz is at all times.
And if Dhokla gets forced out with the teleport down, it is danger zone for NRG on another side of the map. As Herald with this top pushed in is just going to start off quite easily. You can see, I mean, Contractz clearing up this top side feels like he's trying to mitigate any further play. Take some resources off the map so Weiwei's not just getting everything.
I mean, Weibo are playing this early game fantastically right now. The thing is, now that you've got that lead, you don't need to take any more gambles or you don't need to take any more risk. Just control the map well. You can see Chris roaming up to mid to help get that pressure so that they can easily secure these objectives, maintain vision control. The resets can now come through, spend some of that gold. The Heralds can be used kind of wherever you want. You have so many options depending on what you're looking to do with it. And slowly but surely, this gold lead continues to balloon in favor of Weibo.
Equalizer down, Dhokla just steps away, but it opens up the wave again. Thaddeus, those were valid points. You know, you don't have to do anything, but it's Weibo we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're not going to sit back and chill.
I mean, they're sitting back and chilling
For
right
how
now.
long, though?
For how long? Well, I mean, it depends if NRG can find an opportunity to force something. Our expectations were that NRG would come in and look to scrap, because that's what they did when they were in the LCS. But given how tragic things in the bot lane have gone, saying that, Weiwei.
Oh, you set it up again, don't you? Zenith Blade, but the Fate's Call gets him out. FBI, does he want to re-engage into Chris? The answer is yes, but no level 6 on this Alistar. Means the enemy shield ulting in his light right into the fray. IgNar survives for now, a little bit burnt as NRG get away with their lives.
Okay, a little bit more confidence coming into the back of the NRG bot lane. 3 versus 2 once again. Contractz has his eyes on Weiwei.
The all's there. We get the wall rather. English not going well for me, but maybe for IgNar, the play can stem out as he tanks up. Weiwei chunked a little bit, trying to kite it out. There's some slow there from NRG. So close to getting that jungler with a shutdown, but he walks away.
Yeah, Contractz fumbles on the execution there, ends up knocking Crisp away.
Yeah.
It could have been a big opportunity, but it ends up falling short. And NRG kind of doing what they can to bounce back after what has been a very difficult early game. But this is Weibo's game right now. Oh no!
Oh
no!
On under turret!
Oh.
The Spring King returns later in the summer as now for Contractz. Hang on a minute, no way! He flashes away. Xiaohu doesn't burn his own. Come at me, he shouts, with the Herald going down as well. Yeah, that's so much gold.
Be rewarded with the plates after finding a solo kill onto Palafox. Xiaohu making a genius move of his own, finding that kill, and will be funneled so many plates. He's gonna get a third one. He's gonna get a third one. Xiaohu now out of control in the mid lane. Palafox is a level down. He's focused on clearing the wave, and Xiaohu is using his range to poke away at Palafox. But then the ultimate comes through. It's easy, it's clean. Palafox doesn't even flash. And then Contractz very close to losing his life as well.
Almost taken down with a flash down as well. Xiaohu holds onto his own. You said it yourself, Thaddeus. The plating was obliterated in the mid lane. And all of a sudden, we are close to 4,000. Let's do some proper math, ladies and gentlemen. Say 3.5 for now. But 11.5 minutes with Dragon coming up in a minute. Weibo are going to be accelerated into this first item. It's looking good for the 4th seed of the LPL. But more so, I think both these mid laners called each other geniuses. We got from the desk. Smarter today seems to be Xiaohu, at least so far.
I mean, I would also describe Xiaohu as the stabbier and the more ruthless in the mid lane so far. Looking to build that Leandri's flash.
There's a play. It's matched though. Crisp out with his summoner. However, this is getting collapsed on Weiwei. In the right place at the right time yet again. The Fate's Call though saves the day. Weibo still looking to contest. Hang on, Xiaohu's running in. He's got his flash available. No way! They went to Narnia and back again in a couple of minutes! Contractz is down. Weibo cannot be stopped. It's like they've got their own personal train.
They see a kill and they will go for it to the bitter end. No escape for Contractz. His flash was lost earlier. And another is given over.
Ulti, Palafox is sent packing. He's got his flash available though. He's running for the hills. Chris looking for the Zenith Blade. It's out of range. At least Palafox holds onto the Summoner.
They are relentless right now. Dhokla being chipped away at as well. Another plate secured for Light.
All 3 lanes, Vedius.
The entire map, Hysterics. This is the debut that you wanted, I imagine. JDG looking a little skeptical in the early game against BDS, but they did come back with some fantastic team fighting. Weibo looking dominant, but Palafox TP's in.
Well, Chris is out of mana, trying to zone out Xiaohu without an ulti. It's a good time as Dragon goes down, but Weibo are looking for the re-engage somehow. They don't have the resources to play with, and IgNar knows it, but his flash isn't up and available. What can they do as Xiaohu has to flash over the wall without a Sand Soldier to give him a high five?
Weiwei Poppy. What do you do against
Please ban it.
This man is just, he's on fire right now. He's working so well with Crisp. This jungle support combo, like I don't think I've seen Weiwei top. You know, like there was one time where he kind of went there roughly, but look at this execution. Flash away from Crisp. Immediately Weiwei's like, I'm on the way, gang. Quickly there to CC IgNar into the wall. But does that stop them? No.
Look how far they go.
This is a team building exercise. They go in together, okay? Everyone land your crowd control. Come on, let's all kill him together. There we are. Morale now raised.
It's massive. First item for Light as well. Xiaohu can't be far off. He's got a recurve bow. He's optimized different ways, hence not having his first item yet.
Bit of a Build-A-Bear in the mid lane.
He is. He's putting it together. Lego day at school today. As, okay. Thank you, MasterCard, for this late economy snapshot.
Yeah, that's a snapshot, all right. Huh. I mean, Chris really kind of, you know, dragging the team down a little bit.
That's it, man. 208, stepping up.
Calls himself a world champion, am I right?
Not anymore. Look, the experience on this roster is huge. NRG we set up as well. You know, this is a team that's the first seed for a reason. But struggling here against the 4th seed ain't the biggest sign, but it is Swift. TheShy flashes forward onto Dhokla. It is matched, but he's overheating for the auto attacks. Hits once, hits twice, and Call the Forge God layers there, but he sits in the fire of Middle Earth. And TheShy, after burning that summoner, says, Dhokla, go away.
Gonna force him to base. Maybe even force the TP out from him.
Maybe.
With the Herald starting, both top laners do have that as an option. But no ultimate from Dhokla means that this is going to be a hard fight.
None for TheShy either, as Weiwei sends go away too, but Contractz avoids. Smite comes down, however, but Weibo need the eye. NRG trying to zone them out, look for the re-engage. Xiaohu on top of IgNar. And the Sand Soldiers just go, yeah.
Never underestimate Xiaohu's ability to find some way of engaging, whether it be small or large.
Told you. What can he do here? Emperor's Divide, glide, oh, Contractz! Interrupts, matches a flash, they just need a kill! NRG just need a kill and they've got it. Palafox from downtown. And NRG are finally alive.
Finally, NRG gets something back. But Weibo are relentless with their pressure. They push down mid. They secure the tier 1. TheShy can't quite get that tier 1 in the bot lane, but even though NRG at the very least finds something, the map is still in control of Weibo.
They need a bit more, but I'm happy to be optimistic about this team, especially when Palafox, bit of a king getting the kill here, but meanwhile Dhokla in a bit of trouble. That turret's gonna melt, that's non-existent. Light running in with his boys, and TheShy ready to cook. I've been loving the food here in Korea, so let's see what Dhokla tastes like.
Juicy is what I believe Light said.
Yep.
300 gold picked up for him, TheShy. I've often been told that he's a generous god. He doesn't need the kill.
He doesn't.
He will give it to his AD carry.
Because I mean, the right word though, so well done. No god, more like.
Yeah, wait until we see Adam versus TheShy, okay? Then we can figure out.
Don't tempt me. I'm excited for that. The boys going head to head in the top side, and you know that's what disappoints me about this. Is that like Dhokla, I think has that chat energy as well.
Oh, he
right?
does.
But the sad thing is that we didn't see it with the Ornn. We saw the Ornn picked into it, and TheShy already had the Rumble locked in by B2, B3.
Yeah, he did. You know, Dhokla wanted to play, he wanted to be on the weak side. He wanted to give Contractz that agency to play through bot, but the bot lane 2v2, it was shut down at level 2, man.
Level 1, Betty.
Well, level 1, you can even go to say. Weiwei once again finding his way into the enemy jungle. Herald dropped. I'm sorry, you guys have probably made those Wei jokes to death.
Well, there's big Wei in the LPL. There's also single Wei, you know, RNG's Wei in the past. I'm just waiting for no Wei to come through as a...
Oh, he's in EU.
Yeah, that's right. That's right, waiting for it to join the LPL. As Herald gets a double charge, mid is open. And NRG losing out by gold by the thousands every minute we go by. As it's an easy dragon setup right now for WBG as they move towards the objective.
Blue buff going to be transitioned over to Xiaohu. What else is there to say here? Weibo should look to pick up this dragon uncontested. I guess they're waiting for the Baron before they try and end this game. But it feels like that this is Weibo's to lose.
Yeah.
You just kind of look at how the comps work, and Weibo's is just so straightforward. You know, they do have a lot of range and poke, but they're not going to use it like that. This is all about diving. They're going to have Crisp engage. They're going to have Weiwei try and find the flank. The Rumble ultimate's going to come down. What am I saying? Xiaohu is going to E in, he's going to ult, and then the wombo combo. Using the ult, Weiwei will CC someone into it, and then the dive will follow up.
TheShy will flash auto overheated versus 3 people.
He will be chasing FBI, who is kiting him backwards. That's how this fight is going to play out.
You know what's crazy about this game is I think it's the first time in a while that people haven't set a tent up top for TheShy. You know, there's very few games I can say, even throughout this whole year, where people have not sent 2, 3 members up to deal with TheShy.
They didn't have a chance, mate.
But he had a free lane. I guess, yeah, the whole map's burning. And TheShy, of course, is saying this is fine because he's outside watching the fire. He doesn't have to care.
Weiwei has brought the hammer to bot lane.
Oh, yeah.
And he has just kept the pressure up. Baron, 30 seconds. Now, how confident are you in Weibo's Baron setup and secure? Confident, huh?
Sorry, ask me the question again.
How confident are you in Weibo's Baron setup and secure?
100%. 100%.
All right. It's a lot of confidence, Asterix.
Yeah, sorry.
Let's see. It's spawning in 10 seconds.
They're not the cleanest team. That's the problem. They can throw leads.
That's looking very clean so far.
It is. But I won't
you're
say
just
anything.
waiting. You're just waiting.
Yeah, that's right.
No spoilers.
I'm not a doubter. I think sometimes I'm just realistic.
If anything, I would say you're a realist.
I am a realist, yeah.
How many years have you been casting TheShy?
Since 2019 spring, which was his best year, by the way, best split. That was an insane one alongside Rookie. Semi-finals at Worlds, remember, against FPXs. We'll pause on that. This is what's happening now. Look at the lines of scrimmage laid down, but TheShy's not dead. They don't have enough damage. Dhokla knocks him up. They're trying, equalizer down. Maybe they do indeed. But Baron goes down because of him. So there's the trade as Palafox now the next target, flashes away to the skies to get him out of there. And that's what it costs to kill TheShy. Everything, the kitchen sink, the front door, all the new kitchenette, and the fridge, Vedius, for the cost of Baron.
The question is, for you as a TheShy follower, would you say that this is worth it? His life for a Baron? A meager Baron?
No, you know what I'd say?
What?
Impressive.
NRG, they're able to find that pick. They bring the kill score up to 2, but they still find themselves at a colossal deficit. Contractz. Really good idea here.
Yeah.
A good flash response from TheShy. And just great awareness. Like, Dhokla used his W on the wave, thinking that this play wasn't going to continue. But now Contractz, no flash.
The Shield of Daybreak lands. NRG is there to back up, but Christmas and Leona taking numbers. See you later. Weiwei sends IgNar packing as the flash over to bring Contractz back on in. They used everything in the last play. Xiaohu gets one from FBI on the side as well, but as Contractz drops down, Xiaohu buys some time and sets up for kill number 2. Who's it going to be? IgNar. He's got his flash available, but a blast cone to help him out. As Weibo try to get some stuff done, well, at least Palafox is getting a trade, but what is the cost on the other side of the map? Wait, Weiwei's still here.
Weiwei knows that this jungle belongs to him. He's going to force NRG completely out of it. They're going to have to walk back to base as they group up top and push towards this tier 2. The Jayce, after securing a mid-tier 1, getting a bit of gold back for NRG, will now recall as they find themselves with an 8k gold deficit. From start to finish, a clean performance from Weibo.
Yeah.
And Weiwei just being instrumental in how this team has just been dominating.
Well, as we look back at this, Chris takes so long to die, and it's a full commit after the play we saw before where NRG threw everything.
The hilarious thing is, look, he actually gets dragged back by the Fate's Call, so even though he gets yeeted off, maybe NRG can find a fight, but the positioning is just too awkward. Xiaohu, you've already talked so much about it. He sees a 3-man engage, he goes for it, forces the flash out from FBI, knowing that his team is right behind him. And unfortunately for NRG, they constantly find themselves on the back foot. Baron still 35 seconds left, Dragon spawning in 45. Weibo will use this pressure to secure their 3rd Dragon of the game.
Red Bull Baron power play at 3K for Weibo. They're already in a gold advantage, but it moves to 8,000, as spoken before. Thank you for that win probability powered by AWS.
It's looking pretty positive.
It looks almost 100%, but we know no game can be 100%. Okay, no game.
If anything, it looks like that towards the end it tapered down a little bit.
Ooh.
When TheShy died, the game knew.
They probably went down 50% or something. Well, it's going to take a lot more than that. 10 seconds again as TheShy. No teleport available. Dhokla does have it with the Ram Jam available as well. So you can potentially pick that angle for NRG, but it's grasping at straws as Weibo have full vision control in this enemy side of the jungle. And that Dragon is as good as theirs to lead some Mountain Soul Pick'ems people into a happy place.
That it does.
I got to say, Benius, I'm one of the few people that picked Mountain, yeah.
I was Ocean, I think.
Wow, I think you were doing the worst.
Hey.
At some point.
I would say that I'm trying the best.
Oh, okay, yeah, right. I mean, I'm the real fool for not picking Cloud in Korea, okay?
Yeah,
everyone knows it's Cloud's sole domain.
Yeah, who would pick Cloud?
Probably all the LCK cast.
Now, this is normally the part where I'd be like, here's how NRG can come back into the game.
Say it. There's always a way. Optimism.
I mean, Weibo would have to do something very Weibo, which I feel is quite unlikely at this point.
Yep. Maybe.
Yep. Don't hesitate. You know that, like, they're not going to lose this game.
Probably not.
I feel like I'm trying to get blood from a stone right now. You're like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like when I was casting the G2 game and you're like, surely, man. And I'm like,
I don't know. They're up there at the Nexus. You're like, I'm just going to wait till it's over. But look, I mean, again, very different. I feel like Weibo as the 4th seed for a reason. However, to be realistic with your point, you know, again, up 9,000. They've got the whole map. We're talking to Dead Horse here about how Weibo are in control, but I want to point your attention towards the most obvious fact. It's been obvious all game long, thanks to Weiwei. Look at the bottom side of the map. 3 items versus 1 and a bit. Yep. That is a budget Winsu's Rage Blade that you know, picked off a side store down the road.
Yep. Light is 2 full levels over FBI as well. Palafox has been doing his best to keep up in experience, but TheShy now ticking over to level 16. That's going to be a max level ultimate as well.
Yep.
If NRG aren't squishy, he's going to make him look like it.
Oh, yeah.
Baron spawns in 35 seconds. They're going to get deep vision. They're going to push in these waves, and they're going to look to secure it. Likely they can do it with just Light and Weiwei. They can use Xiaohu. They can put him behind the wall, and with his range, he can chip away at it while he zones away the rest of NRG. They have so many tools, so many easy ways to play this. They've actually sent Xiaohu down bot to keep that pressure up. He has the TP to join the fight. A lot of options. All Weibo need to be is patient.
Yep, and just wait. But I also want to point out, you know, much to the success of this team, Crisp having a really good game to open up Swiss here. And his ward score is actually impressive. You know, 26 minutes into the game, 103. That is insane.
Yeah.
I know there's been a lot of wards to clear, but still, that's like every second of your life is spent to getting rid of these things stuck in the ground on Summoner's Rift.
Right now, NRG do have a bit of vision on this top side. They want to try and contest. Dhokla has been sent to try and answer Xiaohu.
Well, they'll try at least. Solarflare lands. Oh, look at the equalizer. The carpet's laid down as the Fate's Call gets him out. Contractz! Oh my, that's the flash. Palafox covered, but it didn't matter. That threat from long range is too much to bear as TheShy waits for them to reconvene.
It was literally just an ultimate from TheShy. He just single-handedly forced NRG back. And that will be the Baron. A dominant performance from the entirety of Weibo. And now with this Baron, they can look to end it right here, right now. Maybe they want to wait for the Dragon Soul. I really don't think they need to. With the gold lead they have, with the power that they have, I think they should just look to end it. And try and end NRG's suffering.
Yeah, because NRG not hitting expectations today, but at least trying to get towards this Baron to no success as Chris starts this off with a big solar flare.
So we see the ultimate come down. It applies the slow.
Yuck.
Followed up with TheShy's ultimate.
Oh.
And then Palafox blocks it, but Contractz, he reacts a little too quick. Dhokla tries to look for a knockup, won't be able to find it. Weibo pressuring in bot lane. Using this wave, they should be able to crack the base open. Dragon in 35.
Well, this is the pick, though. They get TheShy's flash, call the Forge God. There's the Weaver's Wall. Contractz not getting the shove back, though. TheShy will walk it out as Weibo like, all right, you want to go for our top lane, and we're going to try and end the game. There's the equalizer to stop 3, 4 backs, really. Solar Flare as well. Another backstop. Hang on a minute. Weibo are just ending the game with the Baroned up minions. TheShy's done his job. NRG are going to find a pick onto Chris, but as Dhokla gets back, he's shattered as well. Ulti's a little early from Xiaohu, but Palafox gets burned down nonetheless. With their debut at Worlds, Weibo are tearing apart North America. Piece by piece by piece. Weibo in under 30 minutes are destroying the first seed of NA. I'm sorry to the LCS, but WBG might be the 4th seed, but they are here to play.
A dominant performance from Weibo from start to finish. And it did not take them long to start. Level 1 in the 2 versus 2, getting the summoners out from FBI. Quickly followed up by a dive. Just well executed across the board. A clean, straightforward performance. And Weibo will have the opportunity to join some of the top dogs at the tournament. The 1-0 group. Competition's only going to get harder from here for Weibo.
It's a big win to open up. It's the confidence booster for the LPL, as I think banning Poppy needs to go on the list. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to toss it back to the analyst desk. After that, Barnstormer, Barn Burner. Shox, you're going to have to fix me on that one.
Yeah, Barnstormer, Barn Burner, whatever you want to call it. The base burn, okay? Let's put it that way.
That's like a base burner. That wasn't a barn burner.
This is why.
Barn burners need to be close.
This is why in the intro I played the Poppy clip from regional finals.
Yeah.
Weiwei.
Yep.
He did the exact same play. Light and crisp, so good. Burning the early summoner spell off of FBI, setting up the dive. Weiwei, level 3 Poppy comes down. It's the exact same. And then this Kalista lane is just dominated. I mean, we'll go backtrack to the draft as well and the Kalista pick into a Poppy. But once again, Weiwei comes out huge for them. The bottom lane really setting it up, though.
I think this is also an example of NRG misplaying or saying their expectations to Contractz, because I feel like if they're going to be trapped under turret like that, Contractz would start top side, finish bot side, and be able to prevent that dive. I think that was one of those jungler checklist things where he says, bot lane, do you have prio? And they're like, well, we'll be fine. And then it's definitely not fine, and by the time it's not fine, it's too late.
Yeah, they're not supposed to have the level 1 fight with the level 1 Alistar and get flash blown better. Yeah.
No, and it was over very quickly, I want to say. But you said it. You said it, Kobe. Brought up the Poppy, like kind of brought up exactly what that win condition is, and then were you not happy with the draft, with the responses?
So I will say that this game is actually kind of what I expected from the scrim rumors. that went about as well as the the scrim rumors have gone for this matchup. But I mean the Kalista pick, already seeing the Poppy I was very worried because I don't have confidence in them snowballing that bottom lane in the first place, and then it went the other way.
Yeah. So I'll cope.
Okay.
For 30 seconds to a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. This was bound to happen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that big a deal. They lost the early game substantially to a team who was the hardest against them in scrims.
Yeah.
I know they've never played them on stage, but that legitimately felt a little bit like a mental block. And for what it's worth, NRG, they are slow starters. they were slow starters throughout the entirety of the LCS season. The #1 seed very rarely is 9-9 in the regular season. So they've dropped down a little bit. You still need to beat 3 unique opponents to make it through. In fact, their opponents now are going to be easier than if they had won.
This is such a cool.
The beginning of the Swiss stage is really like the regular season.
I love it.
Really, this is just a seeding mechanism until we get to the best of 3.
Yeah, so the Mad Lions, it's just, you know.
It's the same thing applies. But
Cool.
I will say, to kind of wrap this up, Weibo did look very impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that TheShy had 25% kill participation, it didn't look like it mattered, meant everyone was winning their matchups individually.
That says a lot, actually. But we can talk about that some other time. We're going to take a quick break because when we come back, we're going to intro LNG versus Fnatic.
Hey, why not us? NRG can do it.
That's why. We just saw why.
So this is Weibo's game right now. Oh no!
Hang on under turret.
Oh.
The Spring King returns.
That's no flash. He has no flash. He has no flash. They're gonna go down.
Go, 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 go!
You guys go. You guys go. Yeah.
Ornn start moving over.
Nice.
Nonetheless, with their debut at Worlds, Weibo are tearing apart North America. Piece by piece by piece. Weibo in under 30 minutes are destroying the first seed of NA.
Red Bull gives you wings.